What if the very thing you've been beating yourself up about is actually your soul's most sophisticated guidance system? That nagging procrastination you judge as weakness, that resistance you label as self-sabotage, that inexplicable delay you call failure. All of it might be your inner wisdom, protecting you from premature action and guiding you toward perfect divine timing. Paramhansa Yogananda, in his profound understanding of consciousness and spiritual flow, revealed that procrastination is rarely about laziness or lack of discipline. It's often the soul's way of saying, "Not yet, not this way," or "There's something deeper you need to understand first." Your resistance carries intelligence. Your delays hold purpose. The very patterns you've been trying to overcome might be the ones trying to save you from paths that don't serve your highest evolution. For those ready to discover the hidden spiritual wisdom behind their procrastination and learn to decode their soul's protective guidance, fearlessly signal your openness by typing "decode" in the comments below. Most people approach procrastination as a problem to be solved, a weakness to be conquered, or a habit to be broken through sheer willpower and productivity systems. But Paramhansa Yogananda understood procrastination through the lens of divine timing and soul intelligence. He taught with crystalline clarity that the soul operates according to cosmic rhythms, not human schedules. What the impatient mind perceives as delay, the wise soul recognizes as divine preparation. Your procrastination often protects you from actions that would scatter your energy, diminish your power, or lead you away from your true purpose. This perspective completely revolutionizes our relationship with resistance. Instead of warring against our procrastination, we begin to dialogue with it. Instead of forcing action through willpower, we start trusting the deeper intelligence that creates the pause. Your soul can sense things your mind cannot. When you're not internally ready, when external conditions haven't aligned, when you need more preparation, or when an entirely different approach would serve you better. If you've ever experienced relief when something you procrastinated on resolved itself or led to a better opportunity, you've witnessed this soul wisdom in action. What patterns of procrastination in your life might actually be protecting or redirecting you? Share your insight with a guardian emoji in the comments. I guarantee you, by the end of this consciousness-shifting exploration, you'll never judge your resistance the same way again. In the moments ahead, I'll reveal Yogananda's 6 sacred resistance patterns, profound spiritual reasons why your soul creates delays, and how understanding these patterns will transform your relationship with timing, action, and divine flow forever. To fully integrate these soul-expanding revelations and align with your inner wisdom's perfect timing, I invite you to release any self-judgment about procrastination and embrace this deeper understanding. Acknowledge your readiness to trust your soul's intelligence by typing "Trust Soul" now. Consider your most persistent area of procrastination, that goal, project, or decision you've been avoiding for months or years. Notice how the resistance feels different from simple laziness. There's often a quality of protection, an intuitive sense that something isn't quite right, or a feeling that crucial elements are missing. Yogananda taught that this resistance carries vital information about your spiritual readiness and divine timing. The first sacred pattern he revealed is the pattern of spiritual preparation. Your soul can sense when you lack the internal foundation necessary to handle the full impact and responsibility of what you're trying to create. Perhaps you're procrastinating on starting a business because your soul knows you need to develop greater emotional resilience and spiritual grounding first. Maybe you're delaying a creative project because your soul recognizes you haven't yet cultivated the depth of experience necessary to infuse it with authentic meaning. Or possibly you're putting off a relationship conversation because your soul knows you need more self-awareness and communication skills to navigate the outcome with wisdom. This isn't about external qualifications. It's about internal spiritual readiness. Your soul essentially says, wait, let me help you develop the spiritual capacity to receive the full blessing this experience could bring. Have you noticed that when you finally act on something you've procrastinated on, you often feel more prepared and confident than when you first attempted to force it? The second profound pattern Yogananda illuminated is the pattern of energy protection. Sometimes your procrastination serves as an energetic shield, protecting your life force from being scattered across activities that don't align with your soul's priorities. Your soul can sense when pursuing certain goals would drain your vital energy without providing proportional spiritual growth or authentic fulfillment. Perhaps you're procrastinating on commitments that feel heavy because your soul knows they would deplete your energy for more important soul work. Maybe you're delaying certain social or professional obligations because your soul senses they would pull you away from your spiritual center. Or possibly you're putting off activities that seem productive but don't resonate with your deeper purpose because your soul wants to preserve your energy for what truly matters. This protection often feels frustrating to the achievement-oriented mind, but your soul operates with a broader perspective, prioritizing spiritual alignment over external accomplishment. When have you experienced relief after procrastinating on something that would have drained your energy? Recognize this energy protection by sharing SHIELD in the comments. The third sacred pattern is the pattern of divine orchestration. Your soul is connected to a vast web of universal timing and synchronicity that your conscious mind cannot perceive. Sometimes your procrastination aligns you with cosmic rhythms and allows all necessary elements to fall into place for maximum ease and benefit. Perhaps you're procrastinating on launching something because your soul knows the perfect collaborators haven't appeared yet, or market conditions need to shift, or your own skills need more development. Maybe you're delaying a major life change because your soul senses that waiting will allow multiple opportunities to align simultaneously. Or possibly you're putting off important conversations because your soul knows the other person isn't yet in the right emotional or spiritual space to receive what you need to share. This divine orchestration often involves factors completely outside your awareness. Other people's readiness, universal cycles, or synchronicities that need time to manifest. When you trust this orchestration rather than forcing premature action, you often discover that everything unfolds with remarkable ease and perfect coordination. The fourth pattern is the pattern of authentic alignment. Your soul creates resistance when your motivation for pursuing something isn't rooted in genuine passion, joy, or spiritual purpose, but in fear, ego, or external pressure. When your why doesn't align with your soul's values, it generates internal friction to redirect you toward more authentic expressions of your true nature. Perhaps you're procrastinating on goals you think you should pursue because your soul knows they don't genuinely excite or fulfill you. Maybe you're delaying decisions based on what others expect because your soul wants you to discover what you authentically desire. Or possibly you're putting off actions motivated by proving something to others because your soul knows that achieving goals from ego-based motivation often leads to emptiness rather than satisfaction. This pattern invites you to examine not just what you want to accomplish, but why you want to accomplish it. When you align your actions with your soul's authentic desires rather than external expectations, the resistance often dissolves naturally and energy flows freely toward your true purpose. The fifth profound pattern is the pattern of integration time. Sometimes your procrastination indicates that you're in a period of internal processing, healing, or consciousness expansion that requires your energy to be directed inward rather than outward. Your soul creates resistance to external action because it knows you need time for internal transformation that will fundamentally change how you approach your goals. Perhaps you're procrastinating on major decisions because your soul is integrating new levels of wisdom or healing old patterns that would otherwise sabotage your success. Maybe you're delaying action because your soul is preparing you for a quantum leap in consciousness that will completely transform your approach to life and work. Or possibly you're putting things off because your soul knows that the person you're becoming will handle situations with far more wisdom and effectiveness than the person you are today. This integration period often feels like being in a spiritual cocoon. Nothing appears to be happening externally, but profound metamorphosis is occurring internally. The sixth and perhaps most mystical pattern is the pattern of soul calling redirection. Sometimes your procrastination isn't about timing or preparation. It's about destination. Your soul can sense when the path you're trying to force isn't aligned with your deepest purpose, and it creates resistance to redirect you toward your true calling. Perhaps you've been procrastinating on certain career moves because your soul knows a more aligned opportunity is approaching. Maybe you're delaying commitments because your soul senses they would lock you into a path that doesn't serve your highest evolution. Or possibly you're putting off decisions because your soul is guiding you toward possibilities you haven't yet considered or discovered. This redirection often feels confusing to the goal-oriented mind, but your soul operates with knowledge of your life's deeper purpose and can sense opportunities and connections that haven't yet manifested in your conscious awareness. Which of these 6 sacred resistance patterns resonates most powerfully with your experience of procrastination? Can you begin to see how your delays might be protecting, preparing, or redirecting you rather than sabotaging you? Share your insight in the comments below. Now let's transform this understanding into practical soul alignment techniques. Yogananda offered specific practices to work harmoniously with your soul's wisdom rather than against it. The first technique is the resistance dialogue practice. When you encounter procrastination, instead of forcing action or judging yourself, sit quietly and have a conversation with your resistance. Ask, what are you trying to protect me from? What do I need to know, develop, or wait for? How can I best use this time of pause? Listen with your heart rather than your mind, and you'll often receive profound insights about what your soul needs for authentic success. The second practice is the soul readiness assessment. Before taking action on any goal, pause and honestly evaluate. Am I pursuing this from love or fear? Does this align with my authentic desires or external expectations? Do I feel energized or drained when I think about this path? If the assessment reveals misalignment, use the procrastination time to realign your motivation or explore alternative approaches that resonate more deeply with your soul's truth. The third and most transformative technique Yogananda taught is the divine flow surrender meditation. When struggling with procrastination, consciously surrender your timeline to divine wisdom. Place both hands on your heart and silently communicate. I release my attachment to when this should happen. I trust that my soul knows the perfect timing for my highest good. I use this period of waiting to deepen my spiritual preparation and alignment. Then actively explore what your soul wants you to focus on during this pause, perhaps healing, learning, connecting with others, or simply being fully present to your current life circumstances. This practice transforms waiting from suffering into sacred preparation and often reveals the deeper purpose behind the delay. These soul alignment techniques will revolutionize your relationship with timing and action, helping you flow with divine intelligence rather than fighting against it. To ensure you can access these wisdom practices whenever procrastination arises, save the Divine Flow toolkit under this video now. Allow me to share a remarkable story that perfectly demonstrates the profound wisdom of trusting your soul's timing. Yogananda worked with a devoted student named Marcus, a gifted musician who had been procrastinating on recording his debut album for nearly 4 years. Despite having the talent, resources, and industry connections, Marcus found himself unable to complete the project. He came to Yogananda filled with self-criticism and fear that he was sabotaging his musical career through inexplicable resistance and delay. Yogananda listened with deep compassion and then asked a revealing question. Marcus, what has your soul been learning during these 4 years of procrastination? Marcus reflected and realized that during this period, he had experienced profound personal losses, traveled to different cultures, studied various spiritual traditions, and developed a much deeper understanding of human suffering and joy. Yogananda smiled with knowing wisdom and said, "Your soul knew that the music you wanted to create 4 years ago would have been technically proficient but spiritually shallow. The music you can create now will be a healing force in the world because it's infused with the depth of experience your soul knew you needed." Yogananda then guided Marcus through the resistance dialogue practice, helping him understand that his procrastination had been protecting his artistic integrity until he had something truly meaningful to express. When Marcus finally returned to his music, the songs flowed with unprecedented depth and authenticity. The album he created was completely different from his original concept, more soulful, more healing, and infused with the wisdom he had gained during his years of apparent delay. The album became a spiritual catalyst for thousands of listeners and launched Marcus into a career of conscious music that served healing and awakening. Years later, Marcus reflected, "Master, I thought my procrastination was blocking my music, but it was actually protecting it until I had something real to say through sound." If this story reveals new insights about your own patterns of resistance and timing, or if you'd like to explore more examples of soul wisdom in action, share your recognition by typing "soul music" in the comments. Here's Yogananda's deepest revelation about your procrastination. It's not a character defect, it's a character asset. Your soul's ability to create protective resistance when something isn't aligned, ready, or timely represents one of your most sophisticated spiritual guidance systems. Every moment of procrastination is your soul's way of saying, "I love you too much to let you rush into something before you're spiritually prepared to receive its full blessing and handle its complete responsibility." When you stop fighting your procrastination and start honoring it as guidance, you discover that your soul has been your most faithful protector and wisest counselor all along. You begin to understand that divine timing isn't about things happening when you want them to, but about things unfolding when you're truly ready to embrace them with wisdom, grace, and maximum spiritual benefit. Your procrastination becomes a teacher, revealing what needs attention, what requires healing, and what must develop before you're prepared for your next level of growth and service. Yogananda expressed this beautifully. The soul that can honor divine timing over human impatience has discovered one of existence's most precious secrets. Such a soul moves through life with grace, trusting that everything unfolds in perfect order for their ultimate spiritual benefit. If you're ready to transform your relationship with procrastination and align completely with your soul's perfect timing, make this sacred commitment right now. Place your hand over your heart and silently declare, "I honor my soul's wisdom over my mind's impatience. I trust divine timing over forced action. I embrace every moment of waiting as sacred preparation for my highest good." Affirm this commitment by joining our community of conscious co-creators, where we continue exploring how to align human ambition with divine wisdom. What happens when you master the art of divine timing? You discover that life becomes a dance of effortless flow rather than a struggle of forced action. Every delay reveals its purpose. Every resistance shows its gift. Every moment of waiting transforms into sacred preparation. You stop living in anxiety about when things will happen and start living in trust that they're happening exactly as they should. This mastery of divine timing creates space for even deeper mysteries to unfold. Next week, we venture into one of Yogananda's most startling revelations about the nature of reality itself, the spiritual science of sleep, why your dreams are more real than your waking life, Yogananda's consciousness secret. Prepare to have everything you think you know about consciousness, reality, and the purpose of sleep completely revolutionized. You'll discover that your dream state is actually your soul's laboratory for processing karma, receiving divine guidance, and accessing dimensions of truth that your waking mind cannot comprehend. To ensure you're spiritually prepared for this mind-expanding journey into the mysteries of consciousness and to receive these profound revelations about the hidden purpose of your nightly journeys, summon the consciousness explorer within you and awaken the dream truth portal right here in our sacred space together.